Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be working on a painting of the Rocky Mountains using watercolor pencil. I'm using a reference photo that I found online, which I will link in the video description. So when I'm starting to work with my watercolor pencils, usually what I do is I'll do a really quick outline sketch first. And then once I have that done, then I will fill in a little bit more with the colors. Here I'm drawing in the outline of the clouds, but I'm also coloring in where the blue sky will be, and I'm not coloring in where I want the white to stay for the clouds. If you've never used watercolor pencils before, they're really fun to work with. You basically just use them like colored pencils, and when you add water to them, it activates the color and turns it into a watercolor paint. I am using watercolor paper. You can also use mixed media paper with watercolor pencils. You just want to make sure that the paper that you use is going to be thick enough that it can handle the water once you activate the color. So once I added some color to my painting, I'm going to take a water brush. This is a brush that has water in the handle, and you just squeeze the handle and the water comes out, and it just makes it, I think, for a very quick and more loose and expressive painting. It did take a little bit of time for me to get used to the water brush. I practiced quite a bit, but I really enjoy using them now. Every now and then I'll switch to a watercolor paintbrush, but for the most part I really like these water brushes, and this is a Pentel brand water brush. I've tried several different brands, found that the Pentel brand is the easiest for me to use. So once I've added some color and some water to the sky, I come back in with a paper towel and I'm just tapping on my paper, and what this is doing is this is called lifting, where it's picking up some of that color. This watercolor paper in particular, this is Arches 100% cotton watercolor paper. It lifts very nicely. If you're just using a regular mixed media paper, you might find that it's not lifting quite as much, or if you're using a lower quality watercolor paper. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kathleen, and I'm a teacher and an artist. And right now I work with aging adults, and all of my tutorials that I try to do on YouTube are really inspired by my lessons that I do with my aging students. I like to do really simple, beginner-friendly tutorials. I like to do a lot of different subjects. I really love to paint florals, but I also love landscapes, and I really like using a lot of different materials as well. So whether you're a beginner or you've been painting and drawing for a while, I hope that you'll check out more of my videos and subscribe to my channel and really enjoy the process of making art. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me to reach more people, and it really helps to build my channel. What I'm using here is a plastic textured palette that you can find online. I'll put the link in the video description, and I'm just coloring directly on the palette, and then I'm going to activate the color with my water brush, and essentially I'm going to turn this into a watercolor palette. So now what I can do is I can pick up the color right from the palette and add it to my painting and use it just like watercolor paint. I can also mix the colors together, and I can create some different colors that might be a little bit different than what I have available in my pencil set. So that's one of the advantages to doing this. If you don't have a watercolor palette like this, you can just use watercolor paper. You just color on the paper and activate it with water and just use it as watercolor paint. You can also do this on the disposable acrylic paint palettes or on wax paper if you have that at home. Here I'm adding some white paint. This is a paint called gouache. It's sort of in between a watercolor paint and an acrylic paint, and I'm just using it to add just the hint of snow in the distance of the mountains. Once I finish using the gouache, I'm going to come in and work on the trees a bit in the front of the painting, which I started to add very lightly with my watercolor brush. But I'm going to come in and use my pencil again and just continue to layer and add some more details until I feel like the painting is where I want it to be. you.